So hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I have a special guest today, which is my husband. I always talk about marriage and I talk about us, so I figured what I would do today is a video on how we met. So I have him here to tell his version of how we met. I can remember things, but it was so long ago, to be honest. I don't even remember like the years. I don't remember. I was 19 years old, you guys. Wasn't I 19 when I started working?
Yeah, when we met, you were 19.
Okay, so I was 19 years old. So this was a long time ago. I'm 42. So it was a long time ago. So I have to try to remember this. So we met at work.
Yes.
We met at work. My husband had been there. How long were you working there?
I started in 87.
87.
Yes.
And he's a little bit older than me. He's 10 years older than me. And so, like I said, I was 19 when we first met. So it was, I was still just a little wild, crazy girl. Like, I've always been very outgoing, very talkative. I just had no strangers at all. Like, I was just very, very outgoing. And neither one of us, do you even remember how we first started talking?
I don't.
Yeah.
I think Darwin introduced us pretty much, kind of.
Okay. So maybe this, I don't know. Okay, so what it was we started being friends when I was 19 years old, but we didn't start dating until I was 20, right?
Yeah.
Or something
Yep.
like that. So so I was 19 years old. We were friends for like a year. In fact, we were friends. I had boyfriends at the time. And he never tried to hit on me. In fact, I didn't even know he liked me back then. Apparently he did. Right?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Then you broke up with their boyfriend, then I kind of moved in.
So he literally, which is a good lesson, you guys, he did not try to go after me when I was in a relationship. He waited until after. And then he tried to, then he came in, and you still came in as a friend. I think I still thought you just wanted to be my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't really direct. Like, he just was just a friend. Like, he asked me, did I want to go to
Breakfast?
breakfast? And we used to go to, do you remember?
Denny's.
Denny's.
I
I was going to Denny's.
a lot.
We worked third shift. So, so we used to go to Denny's all the time, like a lot of times out of the week. And so we were just friends. Like, we literally talked about everything. Like, even when I had a boyfriend, I would sit with him at the table instead of the boyfriend, because my boyfriend at the time, he worked there too, and I just would still sit with Jose because Jose was just such a really good friend. So we did that for a while, where we just went out for breakfast and we just kind of hung out, and everything about us is different. Like, I don't think,
Yeah.
what do we have in common?
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. Like, we don't have a whole lot in common. I mean,
I don't like your music.
nope, different music. Well, you like gospel music though.
Yeah, some of it.
Yeah, he likes like T.D. Jakes.
Yeah.
Some of the gospel music I listen to, but I don't like his music. We did not have a whole lot in common, but I think it was more of, well, why did you like me then?
I don't know. I just like your personality, how you acted, and you're fun to be around.
So yeah, so I think it was more of that. And then with him, I just thought he was just such a good person. Like, I just thought he was a really good person. Like I said, I did not like him at first. Even when you first, asked me to breakfast, I still thought we was just friends.
Right.
I never knew it was anything different, well, the entire time. And then one day, he decided, after I had broke up, you said you were thinking you were going to step in at that time, because he didn't
Right.
want me to get another boyfriend.
I had to move quick.
So he had to move quick. So he was going to step in. And then what'd you do?
Then I asked you out to dinner.
He asked me out to
Out to
dinner
dinner?
at that point.
Then we hung out
What-
more after that.
No, that's not what happened. When you asked me to dinner, what happened? You didn't show up.
Oh yeah, I stood you up 3 times.
He stood me up. So I was like, dude, why you, but then I still didn't realize that it was a date. But to him, it was like, it was different than our breakfast. But I didn't even know. I'm like, why would you not come? So we get back to work, and I'm like, dude, why did you stand me up? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I had a family emergency. I'm like, what? Because back then there wasn't like cell phones and stuff like that. And so We just had house phones. And so I'm like, what do you mean you stood me up? He said it was a family emergency. But was it a family emergency?
You found out years later that it was just Sunday dinner.
Just a son. He
at my
got
mom's.
scared to go on the date with me. And the thing is, I didn't even know it was a real date. So then he turned around. What'd you do?
I said it again.
Ask me out again. Y'all, let me tell you. Did you show up?
No.
He stood me up again. I'm like, what is up with you? So I told him, I said, you know what? You stand me up one more time. I said, you're going to pay. I told him he was going to pay
$50.
$50. And guess what?
I didn't really stand you up. I came too early, so I went home after that. So
He stood
didn't
me
make any
up
sense.
again. So I
it
still,
really wasn't a stand up.
well, kind of, because he came to my house hours early. You know, we didn't have cell phones, so I wasn't there. So he had to pay me $50. And you still have that check, don't you?
Yeah, it's still
'Cause-
around the house somewhere.
Yeah, because back then, you know, you get a copy of the check. Because I cashed the check. I was like, look, I bought me a nice little picture. I was like, okay. So finally, you asked me again,
And I showed up.
and he showed up. So we went to
First
where we go?
walk.
an Asian restaurant.
Right.
And back then I was so skinny, you guys. I was so little.
This girl could eat them.
Yep. But I used to eat. I mean, I ate more back then than I do now.
Yeah.
I'm much bigger. But my metabolism, you know, was a lot faster. And so we had ordered food, but then he was so nervous he couldn't even eat. And I was like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, oh, I don't really like Asian food. I'm like, well, I was like, oh, give me your food. So I ate his food plus my food. Like, it was so funny. So that's how we met, you guys. But he was after me the entire time.
The way it should be.
Right, the way it should be. He was just really, I saw a lot of good qualities, and then I started hanging around his family, and I started seeing just how he treated his nieces, and I thought he'd be great as a father. I love that. I loved how caring he was. He was just very, he just had a lot of good qualities in him that I was like, you know what? I like this man. And so we eventually started dating, and then babies and
Yeah.
marriage and
Yep. Or marriage and babies.
and yeah, so then we got married. We got married, I was 21 when we got married.
Yes.
So we dated a little while. I was 21 when I got married, and so it was, I mean, it was really nice. But we had our share, like, I'm hoping I can get him to do more videos, because we want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of marriage. We can show you exactly how to do it wrong, because we ended in divorce. So how long were we married before we got divorced?
Okay.
Was it 10 years?
7 or 8 years.
So the 7 or 8 years we got divorced because I was young. Like I said, I was 19 when I met him, 21 when I got married. And then he was way too controlling. He didn't know anything about being a husband. And I didn't know anything about being a wife. And so it just really didn't work. So we got divorced, and we were apart for what, a year?
2 years.
Or was it a whole 2 years?
Yeah, we're separated for 2 years.
Oh, but you guys, listen, through that course, you won't even believe it. We were still
Best friends.
best friends. Like, it was so stupid. I had another boyfriend, he had another girlfriend, and like his girlfriend would get upset. She was like, what did she tell you?
Because I see you called your ex-wife again.
Yeah, like, we don't act like a divorced couple. But we still was like best friends. We would talk on the phone till 2, 3 in the morning. Like, I don't even know. We're just one.
We're friends.
We're just friends. We're like best friends. Like, we're one. And so, like, the older, like, now we still don't listen to the same music or anything like that, but we have things in common, like our dreams, our goals, like vacations, going places with our children, going to like comedy clubs. We do things like that. Like, we have different things that we like to do. And then there's some things that I don't like. We compromise. I don't like guns, but he likes guns. So if he wants me to go shooting, I'll go shooting with him. I'll do whatever, it don't matter. And the same with me. Like, he will stay in the store for hours shopping with me. Do you even like to shop?
Not really.
Yeah, but he will go, like, literally, I love when he have off the weekends, because we will shop all day long. Like, he's just the sweetest, and he will make sure I have, like, my husband is definitely top notch. Whatever we get, it's going to be the best. Like, I will try, you guys know, well, those of you who follow my other channel, I'm a couponer. So sometimes I like to skimp out on stuff, get a better deal. My husband's like, you need to get the top notch. Like, whatever it is, it's going to be the top quality. Like, he that's just
Buy it
how.
once.
Right. He says buy it once and then you don't have to keep buying it again. So like my Coach purses, right?
Right. Yep.
Because I used to buy the fake Coach purses and the fake purses that were what $50, $60,
They'll tear up.
and they tear up. Well, now I buy all real Coach purses. I buy everything I buy now is 100% real, because like my shoes, I don't buy just cheap shoes anymore from like Payless or something like that, because I need to buy ones that are gonna last. So I buy more expensive ones, and they last a long time. So he teach me about about having the best, the quality, and it's the same thing with God. Like I always preach that God wants, and I've been doing that for years. Like I understand what he's saying, because when you go cheap, it don't work. But that's just how, that's how he is. He's been just the best husband ever. We used to argue all the time. We're going to get into this in another video, but we used to argue all the time in our first marriage when we were married the first time.
Yeah.
Every single day. We weren't one. Like we didn't realize that we were one. Like if he hurt me, then he should be hurting. If I hurt him, then I should be hurting. And I had a terrible mouth back then. I would say any and everything. Like I was hurting myself and I would hurt him. And he was, we both had our problems. So we had to learn how to get together. But that's how we met. And so we've been back together again for how many years now? Like
8 or 9 years.
8 or 9 years we've been back together, and we don't argue anymore. What happens if we disagree?
Nothing. We just be quiet, and I go do my thing, you go do your thing.
Mm-hmm. And then usually, and Jose's really good about apologizing. He'll be like, you know what, you're right. It take me a little bit of a time. Like it'll take me a few hours, and I'll be like, you was right, I'm sorry. But he will just be like, you know what, you're right. Yeah, he'll be like, whatever. But we don't really argue anymore. That just is silly. Why do that? Why make your partner? You have to realize that you're one. And so that's where we are right now. Like it's like we're one. And we have 2 boys, a 21-year-old, 16-year-old. Soon as my 16 turned 18, we're moving south so that we really can, get the house of our dreams, because we have big dreams. We want a lot of property where he can have a lot of stuff. He's got a lot of things that he wants. And he likes to shoot, so he can have his own little shooting, is it called a shooting range or whatever?
Yeah.
On the property. And I got things that I want out there. So, we'll be doing that within a couple years. But we have, we've learned to get along now. We've learned to respect each other with God, God first, and then, then my husband, and he's learned that as well. So, but yeah, so we just want to come on, introduce how we met. That's basically it. The rest was history after that. But we were, there's a couple things about it that I like it. He didn't pursue me when I was in a relationship. He was very respectful. And number 2, he went after me. I never once went after him. I never once was like, go out with me, marry me. I never once was like that. He wanted to have kids. To be honest, I didn't even want kids in the beginning. But he wanted to have children. And so we did. We had 2 kids. We both wish we had more. I originally told him I wanted 10 kids. Remember?
Yeah, we should have had more children.
10 kids?
Yeah.
You would have had 10 kids?
Not 10. I think we should have had like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I would have liked about 4 or 5 kids, but maybe we could still do something.
I don't know. I have patience for kids anymore.
Well, we got our grandbabies, y'all. So
Yeah,
we're
they're
looking forward to,
coming.
our grandbabies will be here in a few years. My son, like I said, he's 21. So once he get married, he'll probably be married by 25, 26, start having kids or whatever. And then we'll prepare for him with that once he get married and stuff. But anyways, you guys, we're going to end this video so it don't get too long. Thank you so much for, like I said, meeting my husband. And we will do more videos for you guys. If you have questions or anything about, just leave them below. And I'll talk to y'all later. See you in the next video. Bye, guys.
Right.